Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of Legally Brum. Today we have with us Sarah Oakes from BPP University. So Sarah, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, of course. So I've been in practice generally for about 12 years around Birmingham, and just over a year ago I came to BPP as a tutor, then made head of law.
So let's talk about your training experience. Can you tell us a little bit about where you trained, how you found your training contract and how you ended up at BPP?
Well, I was working as a paralegal in a local firm. Did enjoy it, and it was not for me. So I was doing my LPC part-time and I changed to another firm, so I went to Water and Wider in Coventry. They allowed me to finish off my LPC part-time, and then as soon as I finished my LPC they gave me my training contract. I always wanted to go via the paralegal route and do my LPC part-time. I thought that was going to be the best route for me to be able to qualify. After about a year into qualification I moved to DAC Beachcroft.
A lot of people want to know what are the differences between a smaller firm and a large international national law firm in terms of the training quality. So what was your experience with training at a smaller firm?
I enjoyed training at a smaller firm. I think some trainees could find it very difficult because at a smaller firm I would say that you were given a lot more responsibility very early on. So as soon as I started I had a caseload and I was exposed to some amazing cases. So I did some spinal injury cases, I had fatals, and for somebody who was so junior it was amazing to have that type of work that I was working on. On the flip side it is incredibly stressful thinking that you've got this level of work. And when I did my professional skills course, when I met other trainees and talking to them who were at larger firms or at the council, they said to me that they weren't doing any work of their own, so they had no files, and some of them were only trusted to basically sit in the background. They weren't even writing a letter, they weren't taking phone calls, they weren't doing anything. So, there were times where I was thinking, gosh, I've got a lot of work to do. But it was an amazing experience. It means that you train up so quickly, and as long as you've got that supportive team there, the training is very, very good, and you've got people who are there to support you. But it depends really on what kind of works for you. In a bigger firm, you perhaps have more support because you just have a different type of network. So you will have more trainees who you've either done your LPC with or who you're training with, and you might be in the same seats as. You may have a specific supervisor who you can go to. You will have graduate recruitment people. There's a lot of people involved in that process. So there's a lot of people that you can go to. So I would say it could be that at a larger firm you're more supportive as a trainee, but it may be you don't get the same quality of work.
I guess it's the same with paralegaling as well, because you get your own caseload and you get all that exposure when they treat you like a solicitor essentially as a paralegal. So when you've done that, I think you'll approach work differently.
Yeah, and you are seen more as part of the team, and you're a trusted member of the team. And then from the other point of view, the firm I was in, you could earn bonuses as well. So I was earning bonuses.
I've heard that about DAC. The bonuses are good.
So and Ward and Wider, the bonuses are very good. So I started hitting bonuses as soon as I started there, which is always incentive to work hard, isn't it? So.
Do you think there's stigma attached to training at a smaller high street firm?
I personally don't think there is. Having moved from a high street firm to a large firm, I wasn't treated any different to anybody else who had joined that firm. So I was always treated as as NQ, I was 1 year PQE, and I was not treated differently to anybody else who had trained there or trained at other large firms. What I have started noticing though is that there seems to be a stigma amongst students. So there are students who will say, I definitely don't want to do high street work, but I'm really interested in doing employment, or I quite like doing PI and I like family. And so you say, well, do you think maybe you ought to do electives more tailored towards a high street firm? They're like, absolutely not. So there does seem to be this idea of we need to go into the big firms, we need to go into the commercial firms, which suits some people, but I don't know why some people are so dismissive of going to a high street firm. I love training at a high street firm. I didn't feel any stigma myself, so I think there is, but I don't know where it's founded from.
I think it's because people fear I don't think it's necessarily training at the high street firm. I think they fear that they won't be able to get out of a small firm, and they'll never get into a big firm, and they'll never get the opportunity to work at an international firm or national firm. So I think it's more that transition. But
I think absolutely. I think, and I'm not the only one who's made that transition. I think some students are worried about being pigeonholed, and they think that even on the LPC, if I make these elective choices, I'm already closing doors to other opportunities.
When I was doing the LPC, there were a few students that were doing random set of electives. There were people doing family, M&A and commercial, and I was like, where has family come from?
Where you go?
I really enjoy it. I found it interesting.
I think it shows that that's what you're interested in. Really, you're interested in family, but you think you have to do M&A and whatever. So it's kind of like you need to pick electives for the type of firm you're looking to train at. Not always about what you enjoy and what you obviously hopefully it's what you enjoy
it as well. I must admit, when I picked my electives, I just picked what I enjoyed. I probably was a bit more of a scattergun, but I was working in a high street firm. I picked high street stuff. I was very much at the time, and I still am, of why make life even harder for yourself by picking something completely random. So I did PI, I think I did employment, and I did advanced commercial property as my electives because I enjoyed them.
I think it's important. You've just got to do what you enjoy. I think people need to stop focusing on what the firm is and is it a magic circle firm, is it this, and think, actually, what discipline am I interested in, and then tailor the firm around it.
That is such good advice. Like, be yourself, because ultimately your personality will come out even at work.
Absolutely. And there are so many different types of firms out there. Even in if you think about Birmingham, the amount of law firms that we've got in Birmingham, and they will all have completely different cultures. And from my point of view as well, I started off with one firm, it didn't work out for me, hated it, but that doesn't mean that I shouldn't be a lawyer. It doesn't mean that I can't go any further with this. That's that law firm. And I went to another law firm, I was like, yes, this is the right place for me, this is where I'm going to train.